girls fishing. Here's why we're whispering, because I'm already shaking. We are bed fishing. There is a monster right there, right in those lily pads. We're down in these canals. I guess I can talk a little bit louder. We're down in these canals in Florida, and it's been extremely warm, and we're trying to do some sight fishing. It's very early sight fishing. You usually don't see a lot of fish, but you usually see big ones. I got Bob with me, and he's drooling because he sees another dog, and he gets all excited. But we're sight fishing, and this is the time not to catch a lot, but to catch some giants. It's tough to judge them, but I'd say anywhere from a 4 to 7 pounder on a bed right in front of us. We are going to try to catch it, but please like and subscribe. I gotta go to work and try to catch this girl. Just a little chunker. Yeah, these fish, like, they have memories, dude. So I want you to take a look at something. This is my sea map right here. You can see we're in a bunch of canals. You know, there's no depth changes to them. They're pretty flat. But I've marked beds here since 2016, and I drop a waypoint on them each time. And what I found is these jokers, they're not gonna bed in the exact same place. Maybe the year, like from year to year, they bed in the exact same place. Like you'll get the same fish that'll come up and you can go find them. But I've found they bed around the same places. And I think it's most likely, if you see these break walls and stuff, those seem to be the better areas. I do find some on these grass kind of natural shorelines, but the trick is these break walls, they have sand because they've been filled in. You know, it's kind of a man-made structure, and they like, I don't know, they have gravel, they have sand. It's a harder bottom for those fish to spawn on, and they tend to kind of gravitate towards that. And so using those waypoints, and then just understanding that those break walls or these docks that have the posts, they'll spawn around the posts right down there. Like, that's the magic, dude. And you can kind of be more efficient because this is a slow process. We've wasted 2 hours already, dude. And I got one fish in the boat. I've seen like 4 or 5, but most of them have been like bucks, little guys on the bed. Got her. Came up and blindsided her and like snuck up on her. Oh, stay out of trouble more. And switched baits, and she freaking just swam off with it, guys. It's like a nice 4 pounder. Come here. Oh, she's barely hooked. Well, we're gonna go back and see that giant, but we found like a 3.5, 4 pounder. Bog is so hot. This is not Florida winter. But dude, so the strategy was I sat on her for like 45 minutes. I caught the male finally, and then I just could not get her to come on the bed. So we went down the canal a little ways, looked for some other fish, and then we came back and stayed way off her, and made a pitch. We switched baits actually. I grabbed this is like a classic bed fishing bait. A tube like that. It's just like a Kalen's tube on a 1/4 ounce weight. Pitched it in there. Didn't really see her, but I know how the bed lays out because I sat on her for so long. But let's get her back, because the biggest thing with these guys is you want to get them right back. Just, dude, an awesome fish. Let's let her go. See you later, honey. Thank you for the fun. She tugs. There's something with spawning fish, dude. They absolutely tug. They are angry jokers. Let's go find another one. You know, guys, you've probably seen me do a lot of retrieves during this video. There's a couple that I like to do. One, so I got the bait out there. I'll actually hit the rod just like that. My line jumps, but the bait doesn't move. It like shakes the bait in place, and it puts all this vibration through the rod. And if you're using tungsten, it clicks the weight against the hook as well. So that's one that I'll do. That's one that you don't see a lot. It's kind of sneaky. And then the other one's pretty classic. You grab just kind of like you're going to flip. and you kind of like keep a little bit of tension with your rod tip, and you shake the line just like that. And what that does is it shakes the bait in place while it's on the bed. So you just grab the line and do that, and basically that bait will dig a little and it'll kind of like jostle around, but it doesn't move forward. The other thing too is sometimes these jokers are like, I don't know, they want to be aggravated. So you'll, you know, cast your bait up there or whatever, there's a bed, and you almost fish it like a worm, but you shake your rod tip just like that, but you're only moving the bait like a ½ inch or so. And then when you get stuck on something, you kind of just pop it. I mean, it's old school worm fishing, and you fish through the bed pretty quick, but sometimes, and this isn't something I'd start with, but sometimes they want it quick through the bed, and they kind of want to react to it. The majority of fish, especially if you're on a pressured lake like we are, you're gonna have to work them, dude, and it's gonna take a while. Oh, come on. She came off. She came off. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. After all that. Well, I royally screwed that up. Like, blew it. I don't know. It's probably like, it's tough to tell. It could be 5. It could be like 6.5, 7. But she took me into the pads and freaking tied me up. I thought I kind of had a track on her to run out. But what we're gonna do, she's not moving back up on the bed. I'm gonna quit harassing her. I might check her before I go, but we're gonna go look for other fish. But what I want to show you is what the beds actually look like, because this one's like super obvious. Like it's a really good example of a bed. Like it's, because we're in some pretty, you can see it's kind of some brown, kind of dingy water. You know, it's fairly tannic. It actually comes in from a creek, and that's why they bed here a little bit earlier. But if you guys can look, there's that yellow spot right there. And basically what those fish do, oh, there's the male right there, about 1.5 pounds. Ironic that he's hanging out with such a big fish. But it's that yellow spot, and then you can see the juice spot. It's that dark spot in the back corner right behind the pads, but they just sweep that off. And once again, it's those break walls, you know? Like there's a lot of sand, there's a lot of like harder stuff because they're man-made. But we screwed that up, blew it. Hashtag winning. So we're gonna let this one be. Maybe take a peek at her later, but let's go find some more. So I'm all crying about the fish I just broke off or just lost in the pads. Well, dude, I creeped no more than 35 yards, 30 yards down, and I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't want to spook them. That yellow donut right there is a like 6-pounder. So we got this fish on the bed, and I'm trying to stay off of him, and she's just far enough away where she's giving me problems. So what I'm gonna do, I also noticed there's a bunch of pads that are like out where I think she'll dart to. So I'm not gonna take a chance this time. I got 30-pound braid on one of these rods, and I'm going to set up a little heavier pitching rig on that 30-pound braid. Obviously I just have a little more faith in landing one of these, but they're harder to catch on braid, there's no doubt. Stay out of there. Got her. Stay hooked. Stay hooked. We got her, boys. Hopefully. Come here, come here. Finally. That took forever and worth every single second. Oh my God, thank God we were using braid. Dude, she ate it that time. Just kind of walked off with it. Wow. Dude. Oh my God, I thought it would never happen. Dude, that girl was sitting in the corner. We got to get this thing released. It's an absolute giant, but the most important thing when you catch them off the beds like that is to get them released really quick. So I want to show you guys this fish really fast. Bug, did you like that? Look out, Bug. Just an absolutely beautiful fish. But let's get her back really quick so she can get back on the bed. Dude, just a giant, like, isn't that awesome? All right. Just kind of, I think she's pretty. Yeah, she's good. That was awesome. That took about like an hour. It was kind of crazy because I marked this bed this morning. Let me turn this aerator off real quick. I marked this bed this morning and then I marked another one just down from it. And we rolled in and we were gonna kind of like troll here, and some kids kind of idled past us like 15 foot and then just stop and start pitching to the bed, but got like way up on top of her. And one of the big things with these lakes is they see a lot of pressure, so they get beat up a lot. So you gotta stay back, man. You gotta really like step back and be sneaky about it. I got my trolling motor on 20. Like, we crept up on this joker, crept up on her and casted. We weren't even pitching, we're casting about maybe like 25 feet or so. And it was still a workout. She would get on there, she would move, she would get on there, and even when she ate she ate a tube. I was throwing a gambler stinger to her. We're gonna talk about baits and how to kind of approach these fish right in a minute as a recap. But dude, I was throwing that stinger for about 30 minutes. I picked up a little tube on a 1/4 ounce weight, and this time, thankfully, I saw those pads right there, so I used 30-pound braid instead of fluorocarbon, because I didn't want to have that same experience losing another giant fish. I'm beside myself. Boy, was that cool? High five? High five? Is it high five? High five? No, you're not about it. You want more fish licks. So we're gonna creep up here. I don't want to get too close to the bed, but I want to show you what this bed looks like, because it's super subtle, you know, like it's kind of tough to see. But if you guys look down, they like these kind of like edges of the break wall right here, and you can still see the male on there. The female will move back up. She's probably just swimming around like not happy with me right now, but it's just that little light spot right there, and they sweep it off. That literally wasn't there the other day I was out here. They move up quick when the weather gets right, and that is awesome. What an absolute roller coaster. Like, and that's how this game is. Oh, thank you, Bo. He's comforting me. That's how this game is played. That's why, you know, some tournaments are won on it, and it's absolutely epic, but everything has to fall into place right. And if you're doing it during a tournament, dude, like, honestly, like, if you don't have a bite, or if you got a couple males by 10 o'clock, be a happy person, because literally the bag you're gonna catch is gonna happen after 10. I don't want to hold you guys up though with this recap. I just want to show you a couple baits and give you a quick breakdown on some bed fishing and some sight fishing techniques. FYI, these are things that I learned from fishing slightly clear, like semi-stained, to the tannic water that we see in Florida, and this is Florida bed fishing and what I've gained from Wisconsin. I haven't really done any bed fishing up in Alabama yet. Let's go through baits real quick though. Baits that I like. Excuse me, Bug. We gotta show baits. Excuse me. A tube. Move, Bug. You gotta get, Bug. A tube just like that. This is a Kalen's. I have like Gambler dip tubes. It helps if they have that inside stuff as a different color. Creature bait. This is a Gambler stinger, green pumpkin. The kicker legs on this thing, absolutely awesome, because you can kind of like pop it or shake it, and the ribs on the bait will shake, and then the paddles will actually, they'll kind of move in the bed. Couple other things, and this is actually one of my, dude, if they're locked on, don't be afraid of this thing. It's a Gambler Mega Daddy, and I've showed it to you in some of the bed fishing videos before. It's pretty big. I clip off the tail, put it on like 1/4 ounce weight. I like the Copperfield because it's actually got some like whitish color in it, plus it's green, so I can see it on the bed if I hook it with the green side down. And so I don't like throwing white all the time. I will a little bit, but it's usually just to get a fish started, and then I'll go to natural colors, Copperfield, green pumpkin, something maybe green pumpkin orange, or I'll dip the tails in chartreuse or something. I like to be kind of natural about it, unless I'm fishing a deeper bed and I really need to see that bait on there, or they're super locked on. But don't fear that Mega Daddy. It's freaking killer, dude. A couple other things, and this is classic, a stick bait. And what I'll do too is, if they're short striking it, I'll cut it down almost to like Ned style stuff, just like that. This is a Fat Ace. Once again, Copperfield, you can see like the white in there, so you can see it on the bed. The other thing too, and I didn't do it today, but I'll take like a little Ned jig or something like that has a stouter hook. Stay tuned, because there's one coming. Yeah. But I'll actually cut this thing down to like just that, and I'll pitch that onto the bed with a little Ned jig with a brush guard. and it's killer. It'll stand straight up for me, and you can just kind of shake it in place. It's just like fishing offshore with it, dude. For some reason, they just chew it. Last but not least, I'm not a lizard guy. A lot of guys always talk about throwing a lizard. It's like literally been that way for 50 some years. Not a lizard guy, but I have some of these left. This is a Gambler Bacon Rind, classic bait. It's out of production. It might be actually coming back into production. Yeah, stay tuned for that. Sick creature bait though. It's got like that worm tail. It's got the paddles. It's definitely a bulkier bait, but it looks like a bed intruder, you know, a brim or a lizard or something along those lines. And I will throw this to you. I literally don't have any with me, so I apologize, but Strike King makes this little brim looking flat thing. It's really annoying to pitch. It's really annoying to cast because it like flaps in the air, but it looks exactly like a brim. It has that sort of diamond kind of shape with a tail on it. Absolutely sick, dude. Like, it looks just like a brim, and you kind of just shake it and it like darts into the bottom of the bed. It's killer. When I can't get them to bite anything else, I'll bust that thing out. So last but not least, I want to wrap this thing up. You can see I have 3 different setups. These are all bed fishing setups. I got a Halo 7.3 medium heavy, Halo 7-foot medium heavy, and then a Halo, this is the Rave 7-foot medium. So this is a little more parabolic rod. I have 30-pound braid on that, and I should have been using that for some of those earlier fish that like I should have had when I lost that like 6+. Like, it was stupid because I saw those pads. So if you got a little bit of vegetation around where they can like run out or something, grab some braid. And 30-pound braid is like literally, I think it's like 12-pound diameter or something. So it's super low diameter, so it's not that thick. It still makes a little bit of that sound, but not nearly as much as thicker braids. But always have something like that set up, because if there's some cover around, you usually get one shot at this game. And if you miss them, like literally either you start over or they're never gonna bite again. So you don't wanna miss opportunities. So pick your setup. Then I'll have 20-pound fluorocarbon on the 7-foot medium heavy, and then I have 15-pound fluorocarbon on the 7.3 medium heavy. All those setups have either like a 5/16 or a 3/16. It depends if I'm casting more to them, if they're in super shallow water, or if I'm pitching more to them. Go with the heavier 5/16 if I'm pitching, because I need that weight to pendulum it in there. All high-speed reels, 7.2 and it's a game, dude. It's a game of patience. You need to be stubborn. I think all anglers are pretty stubborn. Be your stubborn self. Have a clear mental head when you go out and do it. And like today, I think we only caught like 3 or 4 fish or something like that. You know, you got to be open to not catching a lot of fish, but the opportunity to catch a giant like we did today, I mean, that will take your breath away. It's absolutely epic. So everybody say goodbye to Bog. He's super hot, poor guy. Throw us a like for Bog, and if you guys enjoyed this video and these sight fishing and spawning tips, definitely support the channel. I appreciate everything you've done thus far, and your support has really brought me to where I am and just given me a lot of opportunities, and it's also allowed me to like learn a lot from you guys. You're always willing to share your perspectives and information and experiences that you've learned on the water with me, and I try to apply that as well. So it's a super cool relationship we got. Thank you guys. Tight lines. We will see you next time from the great waters. Peace.